Oh, we're back. Okay. So, on to the tonight's activities. So we're going to have some rules, same rules as last year. There's some differences though. So we're going to have the forum is going to be divided into the three categories that you saw to start with. We'll start with the Board of Health, then we'll move on to the school committee, and then the main event will be the select board. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Then they'll have 5 questions. They'll have the same 5 questions, 90 seconds to answer that question. We have a change of format. We have this really silly little bell, but it makes a big noise. So we'll be ringing this bell once the time is up. Local scene actually have their finger on the pause button. And when they hear that bell, they'll be cutting the mics. So, and then each candidate will have 1 minute closing statement. So, and this is new as well. If we have time, and Bob's already taken 5 minutes of your time, we will open the floor to questions. We will decide, once we hear the question, if it's a fair question for candidates that they can both answer the question. So no gotcha questions for one candidate. It's got to be a question for both candidates. Okay? So, let's start with the Board of Health. Maureen, you are the incumbent, and so we'll give you 2 minutes. Let me know when you're ready.
Is it okay if I stand?
You can sit. You can do.
I can see everyone back there.
Just remember the microphone has to be.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. All right. All right, then.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum. My name is Maureen, Jasie, and I have served on the Pembroke Board of Health these last 3 years. I am running for re-election to continue bringing transparent, informed, and community-focused leadership to our town's public health decisions. I hold a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration, a master's in public administration, and a paralegal certificate. I also have 5 years experience in an acute care hospital setting, converting clinical ordering systems into a digital platform. I am proud to stand as your no mandate candidate. I do not support one-size-fits-all mandates and strongly advocate for personal choice and informed consent. That's why I support the proposal to remove fluoride from our water supply. It aligns with my belief that public health should empower individuals and not impose blanket solutions. Last October, the Board of Health unanimously voted to sign an IMA, an intermunicipal agreement with Rockland, Norwell, Hanover, Marshfield to join a regional public health grant that formed an advisory board to share monies. The grant so far has gained shared public health nurse, $100,000 to begin scanning and converting to digital records, in the food inspection platform, and efforts are underway to hire a social worker. These are real gains, but I remain committed to protecting our local control, complying with open meeting laws, and keeping public. I ask for your vote on the local public Board of Health and continue to serve you all. Thank you for your time.
Very good, Maureen. I forgot to mention, we do have a paddle at the front. So the candidates will see when the clock comes down to the orange, and then they'll also have the red paddle. So well done, Maureen. That was perfectly timed.
I was wondering what the paddle was for.
Okay, so Melissa, 2 minutes on the clock. Let me know when you're ready to speak.
All right, I'm ready. My name is Melissa Killham, and I first want to thank everyone for coming. I am a proud candidate for the Pembroke Board of Health. I've been an RN, a registered nurse. I have my bachelor's degree from St. Anselm College. I've been an RN for 29 years, and I've been in a leadership position for Greater than 15 years. Those roles have been in education and management and a director, and along with direct clinical care. This has been my home for 24 years. I've raised a family. I have 2 young adults. I've built some great relationships and really have grown to value Pembroke's strong sense of community. But I'm not just going to do this role as an RN. I want to be your neighbor. I want to care because I care deeply about our town, right? My personal values are to advocate for patients and families and public health initiatives. I do believe that local decisions matter, and I want our decisions to be guided by evidence, compassion, and long-term goals. So my My key priorities are to utilize my nursing leadership skills, my collaborative approach, and to improve health and growth in the town that I've been in for 24 years. I am ready to serve. I am committed, and I believe that together we can build a healthier and stronger Pembroke. Some specifics, I do want to keep fluoride in our town's water. It is backed by strong science, and it positively affects the health of our adults and our children. I do want to reduce plastic waste. Environmental health is our public health, right? And I want to promote sustainability practices, and I hope that you will give some good questions for me so I can show you how I would like to serve Pembroke.
Thank you, Melissa. Okay, on to the questions. These questions are your questions. So we received questions, quite a few. We had a committee that selected what we felt were the strongest 5 questions for the Board of Health. And so, Maureen, let's start with you. This question, describe the roles and responsibilities for the position you're running for. What's an area you feel especially well equipped for, and what's an area you need to invest more time in learning? That's for you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Just wanted to read through again. The position you're running for Board of Health, I feel I'm especially equipped for because I enjoy reading legal documents, and government is dictated by legal documents. There's a lot of details in the weeds, if you will. So you need to be able to be aware of those so that you can make decisions that will guide. So I feel that would be a benefit. And what's an area I need to invest more time in learning? Would maybe relations between other boards within the town hall. Maybe we could build more relationship with the select board or the advisory bylaws. The sustainability committee, the conservation committee, the town administrator deals with the recycling and the waste and sanitation. So we could build more relationships with those traditional roles of the Board of Health that within our specific town government have been allocated to different department heads to work for. So our structure is a little bit different. So we could build some more ties to other departments with those issues.
Okay. Thank you, Maureen. It's the town's questions, not mine. So
they're great questions. Thank you.
Okay, Melissa, would you like me to read it again, or?
Sure.
Describe the roles and responsibilities for the position you're running for. What's an area you feel especially well equipped for, and what's an area you need to invest more time in learning?
Absolutely. So I will state that as my role as a nurse leader, I have a lot of experience with regulations. I have dealt with CMS, the Department of Public Health, the Joint Commission. I know how to understand these regulations and why they benefit or could have something we need to work on in our town. When it comes to transparency, record keeping, I understand why regulations need that. I promise to uphold the communication and visibility to our town. Healthcare and disease control, I will tell you I have done that as a director of an endoscopy department. After COVID, we have had We have had a lot of issues getting people to have their proper checkups, endoscopies. Hope you all have done it. If you're over 45, talk to your physicians, right? So we have been working really hard in my hospital to make sure that we can meet that need, right? So I know what it is like, and I have been experiencing that when we aren't able to meet someone's need, what kind of processes do we have to change? How do we meet those regulations? And we do it interdisciplinary, and we on an interdisciplinary team and collaboratively.
Very good. Thank you. On to question 2. The fluoride question. There's a lot of discussion about fluoride in town water supplies lately. In order to make recommendations for our town, you need to understand basics. Can you tell us what the fluoride levels need to be to start seeing negative effects and what they were at the most recent testing of Pembroke water? Melissa.
Ooh, I'm going first. All right, that sounds good. So our water is managed by the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority, and they monitor it. In 2023, we had an average of 0.83 parts per million. I believe it's a safe and effective public health initiative, and our I said the last measurement, like I said, was 0.83. The range was between 0.74 and 0.85. The goal is 0.7. There are issues with levels greater than 2.0, and there are some EPA levels that go up to 4.0. However, ours are consistently monitored, and I would love to be able to educate people on the benefits of fluoride health. It works topically and systemically, and it protects families with no or limited access to dental care. Even those who have good dental care, they also have an additional 25% improvement if they are living in an area with properly fluoridated water.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah.
Maureen, I believe you have something to say about this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question. Indeed, fluoride was implemented in Pembroke March 17th, 1969. In the 60s, I understand from his, doing research that this issue was quite a hot button back then, whether or not fluoridation was going to be distributed through our nation. 70% of our nation does fluorinate water. There are many countries that don't. Us right now, actually, we are just Pembroke and Duxbury fluoridate their water. All the other surrounding towns that we're adjacent to do not, including Nantucket. There is one village within Martha's Vineyard that does it. So out of the 300 and I believe it's 51 municipalities in our Commonwealth, 120 do choose to fluoridate their water. Since November 2024, there is a group called Water Watch. They sued the U.S. government EPA. It's a federal case, and the first 6 pages of it are a summary. It's 85 pages in total because I like to read these things, right? But you only need to read the first 6 pages to get a really full picture of what science has uncovered, and I really encourage you to please revisit. If you just spent an hour Googling the effects and adverse effects, it is proven to have adverse.
Maureen, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
I don't want to ring the bell on you.
No, thank you. I know red now means red.
I
Do
also
I have the opportunity to respond or no?
Well, she hasn't gone over the time yet because I stopped her.
Sorry.
That's okay. But did you answer the question, Maureen?
Can you
The
trust
question was, can you tell us what the fluoride levels need to be to start seeing a negative impact?
Yeah, okay. Yes.
That was the question. I don't
apologize.
think you said that. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell us, answer
Okay.
the question as it's written,
Yes,
but then I will give Melissa an opportunity to rebut.
fair enough.
Okay?
So 0.7 is the federal level that they say exposure is ideal for fluoridation. However, since the 60s, fluoride has now become prevalent in most toothpaste. It's prevalent in food, and its accessibility and access to dental care has increased. And so that curve of access to fluoride at 0.7, we risk overexposure, and that's where you go into adverse effects. The 2020 water testing for Pembroke, you will see a trend of increase of fluoride to the 2023 results. I can't quote you the 2023. 2020 numbers are low to 23. There is an increase in fluoride.
So I think that's answered the question.
Okay.
Melissa, did you want to respond to that?
Yes, I would.
Or do you want to bank your minutes?
Oh, like debate?
No, you don't.
I didn't know there was a strategy here. No. So we have done this since 1969, and honestly, since then, we have had adults been able to maintain their own dentition, right? So people are able to keep their health. Oral health can affect cardiac disease, strokes, inflammation. And when you ask what levels does it become dangerous, it's usually greater than 2.0 or 2.0. We are 1.83. There's been one study in 2024 that I think said the levels were 1.7 to have safety. But I just would like to explain that you would have to drink as a 155-pound gentleman. You would have to drink. It's actually you are unable to drink the amount of water to have it have negative effects or toxic effects on your body. There has been a study.
I'm going to stop you now.
Okay.
I think you had equal time.
Yep, that's fine.
But the town does want to know. You want to ban fluoride?
I want the town to be delivered a new opportunity to revisit their decision from 1969 and have an informed consent.
Okay, but you would remove fluoride
I personally
from the
would
water.
not like to. I'd like to be more controlled over if I take it.
And you wouldn't remove fluoride from the water?
No, it costs $10,500 a year, and we have about 7,173 housing units. So it's less than $1 per household while we improve 25%.
Personally speaking, I don't think it's about cost.
Oh, yeah,
It's about
I know.
health. But
Well, I personally don't think so too, but some people do think, where's our money going to? And what is
so
it
that's
doing?
great. We've got to move on. Are there people talking in the background? Okay, I'll keep an eye on things. Sorry, apologies. Thank you for that. Let's go to question 3. Describe the I'm going to start again. I've got to read from the cards. Describe the position you had on face masking the general public during the early COVID times. Under what conditions would you require masking in Pembroke in the future, if at all? Maureen.
I think everyone knows I am strong. I strongly oppose mask mandates. I will never, ever vote for any mask mandating. I'm pretty black and white on that. That's how I feel.
Okay.
I have more time, I guess.
No, you don't. I've taken it away from you.
I'll take it.
We have to get going. We got other candidates.
Yes,
so
sir.
Melissa, your time.
I'm still on the clock. Okay, certainly. So I was a registered nurse during 2 waves of the pandemic at a safety net hospital. It was one of the hardest hit communities, and we wore masks. It was unfortunate at the beginning that we did not have the supply that we needed. As things came available, we continued to allow people to vaccinate. It was choice and consent, and we encouraged us as nurses, although it may be uncomfortable, to wear masks to protect others, right? It doesn't just protect yourself, you're protecting others. It has been shown to be an effective barrier. We do it all the time. We use personal protective equipment, and that is science that we use in healthcare. When it comes to mandates, honestly, nurses do not always like to mandate anything, right? Our goal is to educate. And if we educate with the right information and good research, we hope there will be compliance. Forced compliance is, many people react to that, and they kind of lose the science in that. I understand the concerns about facial coverings and the inability to see. We have actually adjusted that in healthcare, and we now have masks in which you can see people's faces. That does help the deaf and people that read lips.
Good. Thank you, Melissa. Let's move to question 4. So, question 4. Accessory dwelling units, ADUs, are now allowed by right by state law. Can you explain this? That's too far away. Can you explain the septic rules for ADUs in Pembroke? Melissa, we'll go to you.
To start, and I'm not even the incumbent. Okay, there we go.
I'll be happy.
Okay. So, accessory dwelling units, as we all know, are small residential living spaces on the same lot as single units, right? And a small policy change that can make a big difference could be accessory dwelling units. It will give us opportunities for our seniors, young adults, and our neighbors. They can have rental incomes, offset some rising costs. In August of 24, Chapter 150, it actually went into place in February of 2025. Section 8 amends zoning laws to allow ADUs up to 900 square feet. Pembroke has a current law of 800 square feet in single-family zoning that I could find. There still has to be, of course, separate egresses and safe egresses, and we still have the ability to impose restrictions for Title V under this state law. So I do think it is something we should look into. And I do think that there are some areas in our current bylaws that were just done that could improve our compliance and increase housing.
This is wonderful information, but it's not the answering the question. The question is, can you explain the septic rules for ADUs?
I can tell you the septic rules. So now I only have 2 seconds.
You know what? I'm going to stop the clock. Maureen, can you answer the question? It's a pop quiz.
Yeah, the ADUs. So as Melissa said, it's 900 square feet. You do need a separate box for the unit. We did just recently pass at the board the update to match the state law. It was, as you said, the 800. We just updated the bylaw to 900. And also all of the standard existing margins for the borders of your property that always existed are still in existence. You don't need any other special permits. As far as the box goes, if you are going to put an ADU in and your existing system is over 20 years, you do have to get that inspected as well with the install of a second box.
Thank you very much. I believe, are there questions from the crowd? No, good. Question 5. I'm sorry, I am moving along as quickly as we can because I know we've got a lot of other questions to be asked. So, question 5. There's been a lot of talk about microplastics in the water and environment, as well as their impact on the body and brain. What is your understanding of this, and how should the Board of Health strategize to address it? Maureen.
Well, obviously, I'm very concerned about what's in our water, and that plastics is included in that, as well as the fluoride. So as far as my understanding is that it should fall under the Board of Health, but I believe I know there's a bylaw regarding plastic bags. I know that's not the same as this. I'm thinking plastic. Sorry, excuse me.
Microplastics.
Yes, microplastics.
Yeah.
I agree. There's a problem. It does need to be addressed. I don't know what the solutions are, and I could educate myself more on them.
Terrific. Thank you, Maureen. Melissa.
As stated in my opening statement, I have reviewed the current plastic bag laws in Pembroke. The reason why I mention that is as there has been a movement to reverse that, and I think that will negatively affect the amount of PFAS and plastics in our water. So I do not, and I will encourage education on the effects of PFAS in water. If you have a concern about fluoride in your water, you should have a greater concern about the microplastics because they have a greater negative impact on the health of our families and our neighbors.
Thank you. Okay, they're the questions selected. Let's move on to the closing statement. Maureen, as you're the incumbent, you'll get to go last. So, Melissa, you have 1 minute starting when you're ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
So I'm honored to have had the opportunity to share my truth with you tonight. I am, again, Melissa Killham, remember my name, registered nurse, public health advocate, and 24-year resident of Pembroke. I'm running for the Board of Health because I care deeply about this community. I believe in thoughtful, evidence-based leadership to protect and improve public health in Pembroke. I support proven health measures like keeping fluoride in our water. I'm committed to reducing plastic waste to protect both health and environment. I value and support regional collaboration, which we didn't get to speak tonight about, the South Shore 5 Public Health Alliance. Please reach out to me if you'd like to hear more about that. I bring 3 decades of clinical experience, a collaborative mindset, and I'm honored to have your support. If you'd like to know more, please ask questions after this. Reach out to me. I have an email, mkillham.
Thank you. Okay, Maureen, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Go.
Thank you all again for being here tonight and for your civic engagement in our community. I'm Maureen, Jasie, and I'm running for re-election to the Pembroke Board of Health, and I ask for your vote. With my education and 3 years of experience, I bring both technical and policy experience to the role. There is still much work to be done with the new opportunities opened by the grant funding. I have attended nearly every shared service meeting to ensure we benefit while maintaining local control. I am a no mandate candidate who believes in informed choice in individual rights, not one size fits all public health decisions. That's why I'm supporting fluoride being removed from our water supply and prioritizing transparency and consent in everything we do. I ask for your vote on the Board of Health. Thank you to the Chamber and all of you. And thank you to my opponent, Melissa, for a wonderful debate. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's terrific. Thank you very much. If we could have a quick swap around, the more time we save swapping over, the more time we have to speak to the candidates.